I really did. I was
So much to do. He's gonna be.
It's definitely.
Jim says she won't be here. Sure. It's 7 o'clock. This is the mayor's agenda, City of Hannibal, the official council agenda for Tuesday, March 16th, 2021. We're in the council chambers. Ask the city clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Cogdell, Mayor Hark, Councilmembers Bowen,
Here.
Welch,
here.
Beach,
Here.
McCoy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Here. I would ask our Economic Development Director, Corey, to give us an invocation, please. Amen. Councilman Bowen, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I get a motion to excuse Councilwoman Cogdell and Mayor Hart?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is approval of the agenda. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Next is approval of minutes to closed session, January 5th, January 19th, and February 2nd. The regularly scheduled council meeting of March the 2nd. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Next is approval of payroll and claims for the first half of March 2021. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is Tammy Riley, Big River Steampunk Festival, request for street closures, use of city-owned property, sales and consumption of alcohol on city-owned property for the Steampunk Festival. Would you come forward? Sorry, could I bother you to put that microphone up on the stand?
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
And again, you're Tammy Riley?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe to us what your intentions are? I mean, we've seen the Steampunk Festival before, but as a formality, outline the street closures and that you want.
Sure. It would be the entire length of North Main, halfway up each side street of Center, Bird, and Hill. And then to the levee, the alley that runs through the levee.
And we ask if possible on North Main in front of the brewery, if you can possibly drop back to that second set of bollards to leave the parking lot open for the brewery.
Oh, sure.
If you could do
And
that.
actually, we need to move up, if we can, the barriers on the Broadway end, just past F&M or H&B Bank.
So that they can leave
Yes.
that, their drive-through open.
because we'd like to close the street at noon on Friday.
Okay. Okay. They do need to say. Okay. So the certificate of insurance hasn't been filed yet. You're probably too far out to do that.
I have a quote right now.
You have a quote now? Okay. So is there any questions of the council?
Yeah, have you figured out your temporary power? Not that it'd be the city, I just, formality asking if you've figured that out yet? The boxes? Yeah.
Yes, I
Okay.
spoke with the person that has them in storage.
Okay,
There's a deposit, and I've talked to
They check
Jared
with
at
the
city.
HHMC.
okay. Cool, just making sure.
Sure,
Usually borrowed
absolutely.
from the JC.
I'm sorry?
Usually borrowed from the JC.
Oh, really?
Any other questions, discussion?
So it's pending certificate of approval.
Right.
I'll make the motion that we accept it. Pending certificate of approval. Or insurance.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is John Buckman, Loafers Car Club, request of street closures, monthly cruise in. Mr. Buckman.
I wanted to take just a couple minutes and give you a brief Loafers history thing.
Sure.
The Loafers Club started back in 1958 with about a half a dozen, 8 guys, and they kept it going for maybe 10 years, and it just kind of died away. In the early 90s, 6 or 8 people decided they wanted to start a car club in Hannibal, and they ended up, after looking at various names, resurrected the Loafers name and logo. So that was in the 90s. The club, we consistently stay around 50 members. We have our we're going to do our 25th annual car show down on Main Street, Mother's Day weekend. 25 years of that, that'll bring in 300 to 400 cars. What I'm here about tonight is our cruise-ins. We've done a car cruise-in once a month from normally April through October since 1999. We first located out where Farm and Home is now, when that was County Market. And when they moved, we moved up on the upper lot where Walmart is for 2 or 3 years. That didn't work, so we were actually on the F&M parking lot one year when Alan was in there. Save a lot, but we went out to Steamboat Bend for a number of years. Then with their growth, they got too busy there, it got tight. So 2 years ago, we went to Farm and Home on their south parking lot, and the space was okay, but we're not visible there. So we started looking at maybe coming back downtown, trying to find a location there. And the location we ended up deciding on and requesting is Church Street next to Carlock's Cars. It's an easy in and out location. I actually talked to John Portworth, the manager of the Mark Twain Hotel. Had a nice visit with him about what we would be doing, the fact that they do have a parking lot there. I told him that we would have pylons there to keep the alleyway open, even though that's not used much, but we would keep that open. And he also gave us permission to use their upper parking lot if we needed it. So that's basically what we're requesting. We just need some barricades on each end of the street at Main Street and the 3rd Street. So, and we would be doing that. We would not do July because, of course, that's Tom Sawyer days and that's busy. Other than that, it would be April, May, June, August, September, and October.
Okay.
That's our request.
Okay. And they're good on insurance. And so does anybody have any questions of Mr. Buckman?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion
Okay.
carried. Thank you. Angie Wilcoxon, Kiwanis Club of Hannibal Foundation and Hannibal Regional Foundation request for street parking space closures for the 44th annual Samuel L. Clemens Arts and Crafts and More Festival.
Yes.
What's the more?
This year they're extending from the arts and crafts a little bit more. But as a member of Kiwanis, we're requesting the use of Central Park June 30th through July 4th for our annual festival.
The 30th and the 1st would be for setup. The actual festival would run the 2nd through the 4th. We're also requesting use of the parking spaces on the north side of 4th Street between Center and Broadway for July 1st through 4th. And then total closure of 4th Street from the 2nd to the 4th.
So what you've done in the past, and you're here substituting for Bill Weber.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Bill usually came up and twisted our arms, but. Okay. Okay, no objections by any of the departments. Everything's on file, ready to go. Any questions, council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
And then my second request comes on behalf of Hannibal Regional Foundation for the 26th Annual Hannibal Cannibal, which would be Saturday, July 3rd. As we have done in the past, we're requesting street closures from, it's North Street to Church Street on Main, starting at 5 a.m., and then Church Street to Highway 79 as well, and then Highway 79, we've requested through MoDOT and have gotten approval for that to be closed. We would be done with the race approximately 9 or shortly after, and begin opening that street open and have everything open back up no later than 10 a.m.
Okay. No objections from any departments. It is contingent upon insurance.
Yeah, our insurance renews June 30th, so
Okay.
it's always the week before, usually when we get that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Guys.
Charles Rickey Jr., Mark Twain Museum, request to operate UTV on city streets. Go ahead.
What we're looking to do is we actually got a UTV for the first time, and with all of our maintenance that we got going on, we don't have a company vehicle, so we're hoping to use that to transport our mulch and stuff like that around. And basically, it'll be on Main Street. Just want to see if that would be fine.
Just for council, I asked the Chief Davis's opinion, and I don't see Chief here tonight. What I've got from Chief is City Ordinance Section 17-130 requires all motor vehicles on roadways to have state plates. I don't think your UTV would have state plates.
No, we wouldn't have plates on it, but we do have insurance.
And Section 17-125 requires proof of insurance. Doesn't mention proof of insurance in his application. Section 17-481 prohibits ATVs on city streets. However, a UTV doesn't meet the description listed in the ordinance, so this one doesn't address the issue. And this is something the city council may need to address in the future, as the issue has been brought to the HPD's attention before concerning UTVs. So he goes on further to say the city council, as I recall, approved over the years to the J.C.'s gas company and others to operate ATV, UTVs vehicles temporarily on the city streets for various projects. These previous approvals may complicate decision. So, council's pleasure.
I mean, it's a temporary thing, you're just putting out multiple once, or?
It'd be a temporary thing. What we'll do is basically throughout the summer on an as-needed basis, just to keep.
What are you hauling again?
Well, we're trying to keep all of our grounds up, so we'll be transporting like across from Main Street to North Street, going up the statue area, places like that. Basically, just on that one location down there. But we will be crossing the street several times and hauling cardboard from one building to the other.
Can't secure a pickup truck for that?
We don't have a company vehicle to haul the mulch on the grounds and stuff like that. Manual labor, we're trying to cut back on. So.
Andy? Okay. Counselor?
Well, the issue is most of the times that we have varied it, it's been very specific temporary things. I know several councilmen had discussed in the past possibly us adjusting our ordinances. I've actually discussed with a couple of councilmen, I won't rat them out unless they want to be ratted out, that we would possibly take a look at it. I know HPD had some fairly serious concerns about it, but it is within your power to either change the ordinance or vary the ordinance. I would be a little concerned about giving a blanket variation of the ordinance without some fairly strict rules as to how it was going to go, some strict timelines, and also I would suggest that if you're that way, the council ought to maybe reconsider whether they're going to do something different with the ordinance too, because you don't want to get it you can do what you like. My advice to you is I don't think it's a good idea to start softening it to the point where law isn't even valid. I think it would be better if law is no longer necessary, it would be better to figure out what's an appropriate ordinance. I'm not telling you not to do something, but I'm just suggesting if you're going to start down this road, I would also like us to reconsider whether we're going to change those ordinances.
I think we need to start working on changing that ordinance because UTVs, side-by-sides, are becoming more and more popular, and they have safety features built into them that could make them more feasible for our in-town streets.
I've been to, let me say, not so pleasant situations in the county where they've been, misused and people have suffered consequences. And being in town with more traffic would even make it more likely. So I can't say that I would be in favor.
Are we talking weekly or are we talking monthly? I mean, you
We
say
would be
as
talking
needed, but
As needed, maybe once, twice a week at the most. It does have headlights, turn signals, brake lights, seat belts, stuff like that.
And you said it was insured?
Yes, we are insured.
So what's your limit of liability?
I would have to find that out.
Okay. That might be something good to find out, maybe come back.
And a question, and this is probably a dumb question, are these vehicles possible to be licensed, or do they not qualify?
I'm not 100% for sure because the CC rating on the we got it goes about 30 miles.
And I don't know. I've never had to research it, so I don't know the answer to that. I was in hopes that you might, but it was, and obviously my point is, if it's something that could be licensed, it would be a fix, where if it's a licensed vehicle, it would be valid under our current ordinances. But I don't know that it is licensable, and I'll try to take a look at that, but you might also take a look also.
I think they're allowed in the county, but they can't be on numbered roads. I believe so,
I would say
from the patrol.
We, Mr. Collier's here from HPD. I would see if he had anything to add.
So to answer your question, that's one thing.
I don't know if you've ever been to a small town where they've allowed them, but
Oh yeah,
it's pretty.
it's
My thing is, we let the JCs do it, we let the street department and parks do it. And the Mark Twain Museum just needs to spread some mulch around. But that's just me.
It's once or twice a week. You gotta spread the mulch.
So it takes several weeks to do. So we do it, I got full-time help on Mondays and Tuesdays.
So what's the big pile of mulch that I see in the museum parking lot every summer?
Yeah, we get it hauled in every summer. We remulch grounds every summer.
Okay, and so
We inherited a shop off of Warren Barrett, so we
Okay.
dump the mulch there and try to trailer it down. And in the past, we've had to wheelbarrow throughout all of our grounds, and it gets to be a heck of a lot of work. So we were looking to utilize something this year instead of wheelbarrow. That hill behind the statue, hoping to use that to go through our grounds and go do that stuff. And takes care of some of the trees that street.
I'll jump. Motion to approve.
Just
Do I hear a
approve,
second?
just approve the blanket use.
Yes.
no second?
This singular request.
No
Okay.
second, motion dies.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do feel like I would like to agree with Councilman Welch. I think it's worth looking into, sitting down with the city attorney. And I understand your point to that, but with side by sides, I think there's some different applications that we could find a happy medium.
I agree.
So I'm I appreciate your motion, Alan, but I think to James's point earlier, instead of just softening the law, let's
Right.
let's approach it and fix it.
I'm the one that brought up the UTV thing that Lemon was referencing. I've had HPD look into this, and to make a massive ordinance change is probably not a good idea. But Mark Twain Museum's trying to save some money, and they're just going to run up Main and Warren Barrett, so I thought it was a good idea. But all over town is probably not a good idea. But that's not what they were wanting to do.
Well, and to that point, Councilman, we could adjust the ordinance possibly to say in particular areas if
Right.
people
During
would
certain
apply,
times,
much
rules
as
of the
much as
road.
we allow public alcohol sales on city property, if the people come and make proper application and show proper insurance, we could do something like that with the ordinance where it lays out a process.
Right, but then they'd have to trailer the UTV to that area, and how would they get there? And they're going to run across town anyway to bring it. It's just
And I understand, and I'm not saying it would. I'm not saying it would be easy. I'm just saying
Right.
it is something that we could do.
Right.
And obviously, you and I had looked at some
Right.
potential changes, and HPD was very concerned about that,
Mhm.
and we kind of slowed our roll. But
Right.
I still think there are things that could be done if that's council's pleasure.
Okay.
Sounds like something to revisit later.
Moving on, John Lang, 625 Grand Avenue. Forecast of further litigation concerning Missouri Sunshine Law. Counselor?
Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Ling, before you start, I just want to make 2 points. One, I'm certainly not trying to interfere with your rights to address this council. However, in regard to the existing litigation, I'm not going to let them respond if you ask them any questions or anything like that.
Had that right here.
And issue number 2 is going, and I'm going to take that position because there is pending litigation. Issue number 2 is, as I believe you're aware, as a practicing attorney under the rules of professional conduct, I am obligated to report any unauthorized practice of law which I personally see. And
I trust you will.
if you stray into that area, and I don't mean that as a threat, I just want to be clear that I will have to go ahead and report that. I don't want to be accused of having sucked you in or not made that clear.
I appreciate that. And indeed, if I don't know how I could do that in this forum, but if you feel like that's appropriate, why, God bless you and go on with it. And that's a good leadoff. As Counselor says, I'm going to be discussing or talking about litigation, and you can do that in open session. And maybe as I go through this, somebody might want to pose a question to Mr. Lemon or others. And because it is a subject that is kind of nitpicky, I'm going to stick to a script here. My petition, now pending in court, was discussed by your counsel, and by the name of Reichart, and me with the court on March 5th. The case was passed to April 5th for a trial setting. Your attorney told the court he needed to consult with you, and I said I would do the same if permitted. I did not desire to file this suit and discussed with the mayor on November 9th my suggestion that we reach a resolution without litigation. Apparently, that suggestion was not favorably received. What I hope to achieve here is a court-imposed or court-approved mechanism to ensure that the city, in future meetings, abides strictly with the Sunshine Law. In my examination of your minutes, beginning January 1, 2019, it appears that this council regularly and consistently closes its meetings when not permitted by law, and that the reasons given rarely match the discussions behind closed doors. The violations are both casual and usual. Your city manager and city attorney, as best I can determine, are providing you with bad advice and poor guidance at your risk. It seems all of our city managers have had the desire to conduct all substantive business behind closed doors. In the case in court, the council on June 16th past did not discuss personnel or contract negotiations. The topic was moving from free market trash collection to government-imposed trash collection. And that is reflected in the minutes, which were taken by the deputy city clerk and approved by this council. Now, for your information, the next case to be filed will involve your meeting of May 5th, 2020, where again, under the cover of contract negotiations, the city manager urged you to raise everyone's city utility tax by 10%, which you did. So I'm here to inform you that I am open to any agreement that would prevent further violation of state law and save the citizens additional expense. And as Mr. Lemon appropriately pointed out, this is the point where I would be open for comment or discussion, but I believe your attorney, Mr. Reichart, in addition to Mr. Lemon, would suggest to you and not direct you to do any communication in this regard through him. Happy?
I'm very happy.
Okay, so there you are. The point I wanted to make is I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing it because I feel compelled to. So, good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Lynn. Moving on to a request by myself, representing the Hannibal Rural Fire Protection District as their chief. Request to use city-owned property, the Clements Field parking lot, for the annual fire hose pressure testing to be conducted on Wednesday, April 28th, 2021, starting at 0800 hours. Any questions?
No conflict, brother.
I do have insurance filed.
Motion approved.
Second.
I'm sorry. Oh, and okay, Andy's aware of it.
One thing, do we have to vote on this as the council? Or are you asking to?
I'm asking to use city property.
Right. As far as I know, the Central Service Director, Andy Dorian, has the authority to give that without coming to council. So do we need to vote on it?
I've always come to council with it.
Already
And I already second.
Just asking.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All abstain. Motion carries.
Councilmember Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you. James Lemon, City Attorney, update on citywide trash hauling.
Mayor Pro Tem, as the council knows, in our open session meeting on January the 5th, we discussed the fact that one of our options in order to change the way trash is picked up in town would be to enter into contracts with all of the trash haulers. In order to attempt to do that, we instructed us to go ahead and send the trash haulers a notice, a 2-year notice, that we were planning to do this at the conclusion of 2 years if we could not come to a contractual agreement. Since that time, we have not gotten a response back from several of the trash haulers, and quite frankly, in order to come up with any kind of a relevant plan, which is going to include all the trash haulers and to try to be fair, we need information that they have. That information specifically is information which shows how many customers they have and how much their customers are paying them for providing service. Without that information, we can't realistically negotiate, and we can't realistically come up with a plan. Now, we have statutory authority. We could file suit against the trash haulers and ask the court to force them to provide that information. I am not here today to ask you for that authority. It's something we can do, but I don't think we're at that place. However, since we haven't gotten compliance, we are at a point where I believe it would be appropriate to send out some rough drafts of some ideas that have been discussed, some ways we could do it. Now, understandably, the council has not approved those ideas. Those are just things which we've bounced around, but they are some ideas which hopefully would open some dialogue. I would like, and that's why I sent out the memo to the council, I would like permission to send this out to the trash haulers again, trying to make it clear to them that we're trying to enter into a contractual agreement with them first, and we don't want to ram over the top of them, but also to make it clear that if we aren't able to obtain compliance regarding providing us with the information we would need to negotiate, that we would then consider filing suit. I'm not saying we should threaten to file suit, but I want to make sure that they understand that is on the table. That's what I've got here tonight, and that's what I wanted to seek a council to do.
The two most hot button issues have been this on this agenda, trash hauling, and the next one that's getting ready to come up here. I have gotten a lot of feedback from this. I'm in favor of giving the haulers an opportunity to respond to correspondences, but just wanted to kind of throw that one out there that it's getting a lot of kickback.
And Councilman, it always has. This isn't the first time, the second time, the third time, or the fourth time that this has come up. I am quite sure it's been coming up for 30 or 40 years, but I can say I moved back to town in, my goodness, I'm getting old, 1994. And in 1994 or 1995, there was a big fight about it because I was a young attorney who came with a client. So I have seen this fight come up multiple times. The issue is that you need to be able to balance burden upon the trash haulers versus the burden upon the city because of people that are not carrying trash service. And the memo I sent out, by no means is it written in stone. It is something that I have individually talked with many of you about, some thoughts, some ideas about ways we might be able to allow the trash haulers to continue doing their business, but get some control over this issue of we don't have a good way of keeping track of who's got trash service, and we don't have a good way of making sure that people are doing trash service. That's why and again, these are not my ideas. They are ideas I've gotten from other people, from councilmen, but the idea of letting the trash haulers do their own billing, allowing people to choose their own trash hauler so long as they pay quarterly, and none of these are set in stone, but they are all things that we could discuss, and the only way we can make a reasonable analysis of what we've really got is if we have the information from the trash haulers, we would be in a position where we could start having meetings with them, sit down and talk to them about it, and see if we could hash this stuff out.
Oh, I understand it all.
So,
this is just going to be
so
one
again,
of those.
if the council doesn't want me to send out a letter, or the city clerk actually to send out a letter, that's fine.
I'm in favor of that motion there, but I just wanted to kind of make the.
Absolutely, and I don't think there's anybody on city staff that doesn't recognize that it's a sensitive issue and that it's an issue where we need to both be respectful of the trash haulers, and we also need to be respectful of the citizens and try to figure out a way to address this problem of people that just belligerently will not keep trash service, which is causing a problem on everyone else.
As our code states, we are required to have trash service.
Correct.
But we have no way of knowing
We
who
have no
actually
way
does.
of enforcing it.
Right.
And, the proposal that I sent out to you all would be a way of making the trash haulers basically partners with the city in order to try to accomplish
And that's
this.
the way I've explained it to all the citizens and people that have voiced concerns to me.
And again, I'm not saying that the proposal I made to you all is the way it should be done.
Right.
There are many, many ways this could be done, but it is a thought, and it is something that, like I say, I think there's some resistance from trash haulers because they're not taking a look at the types of things we might be willing to do or could do. And the whole purpose of that and my memo and asking for permission to send out the letter would be to open that door for discussion, and hopefully we get some discussion.
Discussions, negotiations, they're all necessary when
Exactly.
it comes to an agreement. I understand.
I've been on the council for 12 years, and trash has been a problem for those 12 years. And we've tried to address it before, and things didn't work out. Your city building inspector's sitting back there. I imagine he can tell you that there's multiple problems in town. This is the way to start to address it.
Yeah, my comment was meant as a positive step towards the information. Not
And I didn't take it as a criticism.
No, I
I
understand.
just, it was an excellent opportunity to discuss it and make sure you knew where I was coming from.
Yeah.
If any of other council members want to discuss it, I'm obviously open to that. That's why I sent out the memo several weeks ago to open the door for discussion, because what I do not want to see happen is we go 2 years after January 5th and we just send out a notice to trash haulers without having talked to them and try to impose the will, because that is going to be the thing that's going to get a lot of anger from the people. It's going to get a lot of pushback. And if you're going to seriously discuss this, the best thing to do is get down in the weeds and talk to everybody and hear what everybody has to say and try to hammer out the best plan possible.
It would actually be, in my opinion, beneficial for the trash haulers to be on board with this. It would mean a higher customer base for them and a more designated route. It would actually be beneficial. So I see the positives, and I've just been trying to convey that message outward.
So you are looking for a motion from the council to authorize you to author a
Myself and
letter?
the city clerk, I'll
Okay.
authorize, I'll do the language, but
Okay.
she would send it because she sent it the last time.
Okay. So that's what we're seeking?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Councilmember Bowen,
No.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
4 to 1. Motion carries.
If I could just say something real quick, I didn't get to speak much on the point. I've had a couple people contact me as well, and they've heard this from their trash provider that they're friends with and stuff. I think to Mr. Lemon's point, this is good just to get that information out there. So then the trash haulers actually have firsthand knowledge. It's not, what Daryl said to Bob down the street, who said to, so I appreciate that.
Okay, moving on. Alan Bowen, Fourth Ward Council Member. Sales tax increase for infrastructure proposition.
Thank you. Do you guys want me to read the memo, or I can, or we can go straight to discussion? Whatever you guys want to do. Your pleasure.
What's your pleasure?
I'll go ahead and read it. For many years, the city of Hannibal has cut their general fund budget to keep afloat. Tax revenues for the cigarette tax, landline, phone service, etc. have all trended downward with the times and changes in technology. While some of these taxes declining is a good thing for individuals' health and advances in technology, it does unfortunately impact the city's bottom line. The city has a long list of necessary infrastructure improvements that without adequate funding continues to deteriorate and grow. I've discussed with the city manager, economic development, department heads, and the council in attempts to improve our revenue sources. The city's property tax, the city's individual part of the property tax, has not been increased since the 1970s. However, increasing this may hurt some fixed income citizens if the city chose to raise property tax. In my opinion, a low property tax gives incentive to build here, as witnessed by many new subdivisions currently being built within the city. The city has a great city manager and department heads that look for and secured many grants in recent years and have helped operational revenue tremendously. However, this is only a Band-Aid fix for so long. After some discussion, myself and others feel the city's plan should be to place a referendum before the voters to increase sales tax by half cent. Following are some of the reasons for the proposal of an increase in sales tax. Hannibal has a daily citizen count of 40,000 plus that pay sales tax. Hannibal has around 500,000 visitors from 79 countries a year that bring in outsized money, thus also paying sales tax. Hannibal is a regional shopping destination for many surrounding areas. What this really means is it allows outside citizens to help pay for city's infrastructure improvements. Attached is proposed ballot language that the city attorney and outside counsel have both reviewed. Before the last part of the memo there, I'd like to add a couple other things. I've been on the council for almost 3 years. I've been through 3 budgets. We have cut a lot of fat off the budgets, and the city it's getting hard to continue. What I'm talking about now is not for the council to hear or for the employees sitting in the seats. It's for the citizens who watch this meeting and will read the minutes tomorrow on Facebook and all that. The city has built a big riverfront, and built a new tourism building, but those monies cannot be used for tearing down houses or paving streets or anything like that. We did $6 million plus to pave streets. Took 3 years, and we burnt that entire $6 million up, and we still didn't even get to all of the streets. We have 70 plus houses on the demo list. We could add hundreds more tomorrow, and there's hundreds more that we could add to that list. It costs $4,000 to $8,000 per house. Sometimes we have to bid that out. It, be $20,000 plus. So you take 100 houses at $4,000. That's a lot of money that the city just doesn't have. We tear down 15 plus houses a year. The street department used to be a lot bigger. The street department is not as big as it used to be. The city hall has not done anything recently. Some people have noticed the stuff downstairs we've been doing. The city is treading water, and we can't just raise our rates. We can't just pass new taxes without asking the citizens. Until you've actually looked at the budgets and seen it, you won't understand. I'm being blunt about it, but that's just how it is. I finally bit the bullet and brought this on the agenda. As you can tell, it's a lot. I've done some big things on the council, and this is the next big thing to do. And in my opinion, this is the best idea we have, or we're going to have to start losing employees or I don't want it to be end all kind of thing or apocalyptic tomorrow, but we have to do something. And this is the best idea I have. So if it doesn't make it, I understand, but I'm just looking out for the city. It'd be my recommendation using ballot option B to propose an increase in sales tax by ½ cent and placing the issue to the voters for consideration on the August 2021 ballot.
Was that your motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion?
This is,
I'll have to say, the people decide, so
Right.
I'm all for the citizens deciding to, help fund, further projects for the city. So, yeah, it's been needed for a while. Thank you
Yep.
for bringing it forward.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion?
this
Andy?
is,
I just want to add real quickly, this infrastructure tax,
Can you come up here to the mic, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
so this infrastructure tax, what the goal of it to try to do is, one, is stormwater.
And point out stormwater is unfunded.
Unfunded stormwater. There is absolutely no funding for stormwater right now. Anybody that drives around town, anybody who's impacted by that knows that problem is growing every single day. Many of our stormwater vaults are over 100 years old, most of which on South Side is over 100 years old. Someone like Oakwood has little to no stormwater. That is continuing to grow. The problem is growing, but we also have state mandates, MS4 mandates, that we have to comply with or the city starts getting fined. So that's a huge issue. Anybody who has alleys running through their backyard knows they've been deteriorating for 20 years, if not longer. There's no funding for that. Anyone who's seen an alley or a sidewalk knows that our sidewalks are in disrepair. There's no funding for that. So basically, right now is as good as it's going to get. If we do not find a funding source, we are simply going to have to start telling people, I'm sorry, but we can't do anything. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to raise taxes. I get it. But this is, kind of a dire moment. If we want to continue to grow, we want to have better infrastructure for the community. This is something that we need. In addition, we talk about things like snow plowing, paving streets. That pot of money all comes from the same amount. So if we want better snow plowing, we need some additional resources. We have, as Alan said, cut back employees, cut back trucks. We have done everything we humanly possibly can do to cut everything we can cut, but we're kind of at a turning point right now. So I'm grateful for Alan to bring this forward and for the council to consider this. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If I may also, we looked at other revenues that could possibly be raised and, property tax and all that and kind of ran those numbers. But as Alan pointed out, the sales tax is the mechanism by which people who don't live in this community can offset the cost and pay into the pot and save the actual resident from shouldering that burden 100%.
Any other discussion?
I mean, I'm not in favor of raising taxes. Nobody up here is, but I do understand where we're at, and I think Alan even mentioned some of the Facebook comments and things like that, which I know that we'll hear. And the biggest thing is, what I've heard anyway, is how things were done in the past. But aside from just one or two of us up here, I don't think anybody's been here really that long. To me, it's unfair to judge a sitting council by what the councils in the past have done. The only thing we can do is just try to do the right thing and move forward. While it's always not the most popular thing, to Andy's point and Alan's point and everyone here, I mean, something has to give. And, not just streets. I mean, police are down, officers, the fire department I used to be a member of has been down since I've been a member there. There's a lot of things that we can do. Understandably, this is an infrastructure bill, but at least it gets something started. So I appreciate your time, Alan, and bringing it before the council.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, this is another one of those hot button issues I was talking about. I've received a lot of calls and feedback from people, and I explained people basically exactly how Alan explained it. I'm I have a tendency to draw on like my citizen mind as I don't want a 0.5% or 0.5 cent sales tax added to everything I buy, as well as the other things in plan. This could actually raise our sales tax conceivably higher than most surrounding communities. I would like for the people to have a vote on this. So he's made a motion, and
Whichever.
but I will second the motion to put it on the ballot and let the people decide.
I think I seconded it.
Okay. Either way,
Councilman Veach had seconded.
lots of seconds.
Is there any further discussion? Motion and a second has been made, so I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Angelica Zerbonia, City Clerk, approval non-contributory life insurance benefits.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, thank you. This evening I have one issue, and it relates to the City and Board of Public Works non-contributory group life insurance benefits. The current contract with Anthem Life is due to expire June 30th. Therefore, we solicited proposals for a renewal and/or anyone else invitation to submit. 7 proposals were received for the $20,000 for City and Board of Public Works policies and $50,000 for police and fire ranking personnel. And upon the review of the proposals, it would be my recommendation that council approve and accept the most responsive renewal from Anthem Life, and it is about 16.9 cents per $1,000 benefit. Has a 2-year rate guarantee. And to put it into more perspective terms, it's $3.38 per month for a $20,000 benefit and $8.45 for a $50,000 benefit. This is increased slightly compared to the prior 2 years with Anthem, and for a total of about $800, and that is for both entities combined. Anthem was not the lowest cost proposal. However, they did provide the best, most responsive to meet our needs, especially when you take into consideration the soft dollar cost associated with changing providers, additional requirements that are set forth from the next best proposal, which was the Dearborn Group, the use of, on some of the soft dollar cost, multiple portals, vendors. Anthem's our vision provider as well, would have the additional vendors, check processing. So it would be my recommendation that council approve the renewal as submitted by Anthem Life. Any questions?
No, I just want to make a comment. $20,000 of life insurance for an employee or $50,000 for a firefighter or a police officer is not enough. But then again, it goes back to funding. I work for private enterprise. My company provides me, one time of what I make salary per year. And that's not enough. If you're not out there buying more, you're not protecting your family. I wish we were in a position to, purchase more, but we're not. Maybe we can be in the future.
Just as a side note, in years past, probably about 10 years ago or so, we offered a $10,000 benefit, and we were getting good rates through our proposal, so we were able to increase that some. And I do always, when I solicit, I always ask for the additional amount for citywide, just to kind of look at that to see where sometimes you get better buying power in the purchasing. So I do look at that just to see if it is beneficial, and if it would certainly lower the rates, I would definitely bring that to council for consideration as well.
Any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Those
opposed? Motion carried. Karen Burdick, Director of Finance, Certificate of... I'm sorry, I skipped Mike. Michael Murphy, Interim Building Inspector, Annual Reporting, Non-Owner Occupied Dwelling Program.
So this memo is in reference to the non-owner occupied property. You're supposed to give an annual report, the building inspector. I don't think it's ever been done. Nobody, we did it. So we're going to start doing the annual. During the fiscal year of 2019-20, did 71 rental inspections, brought in 6,000. But that's not an accurate look at the program. We got hit with COVID pretty early in that fiscal year, so we cut out all the rental inspections. So I think my first year here was 2017, 2018 fiscal year. Then I did 230 inspections. We brought in 19,600 some change. So that's more accurate. So going forward, we've got a new OpenGov program as far as doing building permits, building commission, and the rental inspections. The Board of Public Works has been really great, really awesome in providing a database on what rental property we have. I didn't even, after that first year, Chuck Anderson, which was here before me, he didn't have any records, so I didn't even know what was rental. It was hard to figure out. So the board awesome. We're putting that, getting that data, trying to get it into the OpenGov system. So hopefully the next year on track. 19. So like I said, and this, I assume this is probably the first on this. So, but it's not. Sure.
Okay. Questions of
Any
Mike?
questions?
I like the reports, so keep them coming.
And with the OpenGov, I mean, monthly, yearly, pretty quick. Been setting that up, so anytime you want.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Sorry, I skipped Mike. Motion to approve?
Second, or yeah, make a motion. Sorry.
Are we approving? Yeah. Approve the memo?
His memo is reporting, or it's in there, so I.
No.
Okay. We'll go on.
Removed.
We'll go on to Karen Burdick, Director of Finance, Certificate of Occupancy Fee Schedule Adjustment.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. To go along with Mike's report, another thing that was in the code was an ordinance back November of 2011, giving the council the ability to adjust the occupancy permits depending on the CPI. And going along with his reporting, that we would look at what the increase of CPI, and whether we want to adjust those rates yearly, or as it says in the ordinance, that we would adjust it every 5 years. This has not been done since the rates were approved by resolution in 2011. So in my memo, I gave you a chart of what the rates are right now at the present time. And given the CPI as of December of each year, and the reason I chose that is that's what I base our bid limits on. And so going forward, I would like to do this at the same time that we do our bid limits, and we will just use the same, be consistent on the CPI that we use. So looking at what the CPI was December of 2011, and then at December of 2020, it's increased 15.42%. So I calculated what those increases would be now, adjusted to an even number. And I have a resolution to follow for you all to vote on the new rates for the occupancy permit. Do you have any questions?
So we're currently getting the 2011 rates then, right?
Yes.
The 40, 25, 15.
Yes, so that is the rate that was set in 2011.
And then
And they have
the
never-
$46 is what we should be charging.
Right,
Okay.
using the December CPI,
Right.
then that is what the adjustment would be.
Okay.
So it has not been done. We would like to present that to you by resolution tonight
Right.
to increase those. And then we will, moving forward, when I do the bid limits every year, we'll go ahead and look at this, but you do not need to raise them every year. But every 5 years is necessary. And this would go into effect beginning July 1 of this year. So the beginning of our new year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Resolution number 2325-21 to follow. Edie Grobman, DPW Management Assistant, sale of a city-owned property, 717 Olive Street, agreement for transfer of real estate, and special warranty deed.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. I have 5 agenda items this evening. All 5 of them are selling lots. The first one is 717 Olive. Property owner who lives at 719 named Anthony Skaggs would like to purchase this lot. It was a Marion County trustee property that we acquired. As stated, he owns the lot next door. His plans are to minor sub the 2 lots together so he can build a garage on the property. All contracts were signed. We will sell this lot for $500 plus recording.
Okay. Resolution number 2320-21 to follow.
The next lot will be the selling of 2725 Hope to Jeremy Reeves. He also resides at the neighboring lot next door of 2711 Hope. The previous owner surrendered this property. We demoed it. They couldn't demo fees, so we took it on. He is going to use it for a yard. House that his house is on now doesn't have one, so it's just a playground area for his children. Same thing. Contracts have been signed. Sell it for $500 plus.
Okay. Resolution number 2321-21 to follow.
The next lot will be selling 2000 through 2002 settles to Larissa Bordes and Alea Bordes. This was a county trustee property that we acquired. She has family ties to the area, which you'll kind of 2 properties. They would like to do future renovation in the area, kind of what his envision is, the city infill. That is their plans for it. So contracts have been signed. Same thing, 500.
Okay. Resolutions 2322-21, 2323-21, 2324-21 to follow.
And I'll just do the next 2 then.
Okay.
The next one is 2001 through 2003 settles. This also will be purchased by Larissa Bordes and her cousin Shakira Dorsey. This house was a Marion County trustee property as well. There still is a house on the lot. It was originally mother. They would like to restore it if possible. That is their plans. That's kind of why they wanted the ties for all of the land in the area. This one, they 2 have signed the contract with 500 plus recording fees. And then they are also purchasing 2004 settles. It is a vacant lot, same thing. 2004 settles, 2002 through 2002 settles are neighboring lots. Same thing, they're just wanting to infill. They're all there together. They have family ties in the area. They're just wanting to keep the land together.
Is the house that's still standing, is that on our list on building commission? They are aware of it?
They are aware. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, it was one of them that we were getting ready to take down. So we have mentioned that it's ready to come down, and we've given them like a 60-day window that if there's no improvements, and they are aware that it's down. So.
Thank you. Andy Dorian, Director of Central Services, Matt Munslinger, Board of Public Works Engineer, Union Street Stormwater Project, contract for engineering and technical services.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. We're bringing the resolution tonight for the contract with Pepingstone Bach & Associates for $98,255 for the engineering, design, and construction administration for the repairs of the Union Street Stormwater Project. Matt and his staff put together the RFQs a while back. We conducted the interviews. and selected Pepping Stone Bach from several engineering firms. I could kind of turn this over to Matt if there's any technical questions, or Lisa, if you want to address the funding source, the emergency CDBG funding, address that.
Yes, this project will be paid for with the emergency CDBG grant that we received. The match for that grant, the project's $706,000. That is the grant amount. Then there is an $88,000 match. 1,000 of that is cash, and we've already allotted for that in the contract with Mark Twain Regional Council of Governments for the admin on that project. That admin also, if you remember, does not come out of the grant amount. It's over and above the grant amount. And then the $87,000 is in kind, and that'll be putting the street back and the sidewalk.
This will replace about 175 feet of 100-year-old stone archway and repair the road.
Questions? Resolution number 232621 to follow.
You gonna let Matt off the hook that easy? Okay.
He's the project coordinator on this, so he's going to get all the tough work later on. Next up, we have the declaration of surplus of our 2007 25 horsepower Yamaha motor in conjunction with the purchase of a 2016 John boat and 2014 25 horsepower Yamaha motor and 2000 Yacht Club trailer. Total price would be $5,565 from Jack's Harbor Marine. This boat will be used for the future dredging, dock maintenance, river dock maintenance, etc. So basically everything down the marina and river.
Okay. First of all, we need to do the declaration of surplus property. Declare the 2007 25 horsepower Yamaha motor surplus. Need a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Now we can discuss the purchase approval of the 2016 John boat, the 2014 25 horsepower Yamaha motor, and the 2000 Yacht Club trailer.
Andy, what was the next bid up?
It was quite a bit higher. They have it here somewhere. We looked around several different places online. And it was quite a bit higher. 2,000.
For the buy right here in town anyway. Right here local. Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. And then last, we recently opened bids for the foundation work for the new Sit House restroom. We received several bids with the low bid from George Lee Junior Construction of $38,500. This project will build the foundation and all the utility work, water, plumbing, sewer connections. We actually open bid tomorrow for the concrete prefab foundation.
Okay. Any questions? Resolution number 2327, 21 to follow.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Andy.
Now I'll come to the resolutions. The clerk's got a lot of reading to do. I need a motion to have the clerk read the resolution and call the roll for adoption for resolution 2320-21.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2320-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute, Mayor Pro Tem, a special warranty deed and agreement for the transfer of real estate between the city and Anthony Skaggs for the purchase of city-owned property known as 717 Olive Street in the amount of $500 plus cost. Councilmember Bowen?
Yes.
Welch?
Yes.
Beach?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2320-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now move to resolution 2321-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2321-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the Mayor Pro Tem to execute a special warranty deed and agreement for transfer of real estate between the city and Jeremy Reeves for the purchase of city-owned property known as 2725 Hope Street in the amount of $500 plus cost. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2321-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now move to resolution 2322-21. Need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2322-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a special warranty deed and agreement for transfer of real estate between the city and Larissa Borns and Alea Borns for the purchase of city-owned property known as 2000 through 2002 Settles in the amount of $500 plus cost. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2322-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now have resolution number 2323-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 2323-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing Mayor Pro Tem to execute a special warranty deed and agreement for transfer of real estate between the city and Larissa Borns and Shakira Dorsey for the purchase of city-owned property known as 2001 through 2003 Settles in the amount of $500 plus fees. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2323-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now have resolution number 2324-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2324-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing Mayor Pro Tem to execute a special warranty deed and agreement for transfer of real estate between the city and Larissa Borns and Alea Borns for the purchase of city-owned property known as 2004 Settles in the amount of $500 plus cost. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2324-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now have resolution number 2325-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2325-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal amending the building inspection certificate of occupancy permit fees in accordance with Section 7.302, subsection C, Schedule of Fees of the City of Hannibal Code. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2325-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now have resolution number 2326-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2326-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing the mayor to execute a $98,255 contract for engineering and technical services between the city and Pepping Stonebach and Associates for the replacement of 175 feet stone archway that failed under Union Street. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2326-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now have resolution 2327-21. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So move.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution number 2327-21, a resolution of the City of Hannibal authorizing Mayor Pro Tem to execute a $38,500 contract agreement between the city and George Lee Jr. Construction for the foundation and utility work for the Sedalis Restroom Project. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes, I declare resolution number 2327-21 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now have bill number 21-005. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Bill number 21-005, an ordinance revising and amending Chapter 14, Human Rights and Human Relations, Article 2, Affirmative Action Committee of the Revised Ordinances of the City of Hannibal. Second and final reading. Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. I declare bill number 21-005 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now go to closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-021, subsection 1, subsection 2. Need a motion to go into closed session, admitting myself, council, city manager, city attorney, city clerk, Andy Dorian.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Councilmembers Bowen,
Yes.
Welch,
Yes.
Beach,
Yes.
McCoy,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes. Move to closed session. Thank you all.